First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Hal Stewart, he is running for the 22nd Congressional District. Hal, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Bill?
Good. I got to tell you, our systems are all down here. We're dealing with a technical mess here this morning. I guess because of the wind. I don't know what happened, but it's been crazy here. So I don't have your bio in front of me now. Can you just give me a little bit of background, where you're from, what your background is, and then we'll chat about your plans here.
Sure. I was born and raised in Syracuse, New York. Went to Henniger High School. That's where I lived right up until I was 17, and I joined the Navy. At that point, I was I was like a lot of kids. I just had no direction, no idea what I wanted to do. So I joined the Navy and spent 4 years there. Came back home and moved from Syracuse almost immediately. From Syracuse down to Binghamton, New York, where I've been since. I moved probably the only guy in history to ever do this. I moved because of a girl.
Oh, yeah, no one does that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it never happened. And surprisingly, that didn't last. But I've stayed down here since. This is where I planted my roots. I'm married now. I'm currently I'm in the marketing and advertising is what I do. But I've always had an interest in politics and following along and what's going on and really caring about the communities.
Did I read, though, that you do some stand-up comedy?
That's right.
Okay, all right. So, listen, you'll fit right in Washington if you were to win this race. So,
I mean, it would be a perfect situation. If I wanted to be a full-time comedian in a position of Congress, it would be a perfect fit.
I think it would be.
For the way things are right now.
All right. So, your political preference, are you a Democrat, Republican? Talk about that.
Well, I'm independent. I definitely, if somebody had to, put a gun to my head and say you're going to vote one way for the rest of your life, probably would vote Democrat.
Okay.
Definitely lean more left. But fiscally, far more conservative than liberal, and I'd say socially, definitely more liberal than conservative.
You mentioned you work in advertising. Can you talk about that? Where do you work? How old are you?
I'm 43 years old. I'm working right now for advertising, a marketing agency, but I've worked in radio, TV, retail marketing, just about the whole gambit.
Do you want to mention places or no? Are you intentionally not mentioning where you work?
Yeah, I didn't want to mention where I did my company, but just didn't want to associate them. But radio stations in Binghamton. I worked for Town Square Media for a little while, for 4 years. So
and you got out of that. It's a smart guy.
So you're a good blogger.
I'm sorry. Is this your first run for office?
This is it. Yeah, this is my first run.
All right. What do you think? Anthony Brindisi just lost a very, very close race to Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Both of those candidates, both of those former or current Congress people, are from our area here in Central New York. What assess the two of them, if you would, because you've lived through both of these Congress people here.
Yeah, I think they're the reason that I'm running, and not just them. But we're a Republican district, and there's no reason why Claudia Tenney shouldn't win comfortably. And I think it says a lot about how she's viewed and the job she's done for us. That she had the job and then couldn't hold it, and then barely won it. I'm sure she would tell you she won because she's overly popular, and it's outside money and the media that caused it to be close and whatever. But I think we got nothing out of them. We had no representation for a month and a half, whatever it was, but I didn't see any difference. For 2 years, we had Claudia Tenney, who did nothing but go around the major news media, Fox News, and tell everybody how much she loved Donald Trump. And then we had Anthony Brindisi come along and tell us he would be an independent. He wasn't going to go lockstep with the Democrats. He got to Congress. What did he do? He went lockstep with the Democrats. And that's what the two of them did, and their big accomplishment is arguing over who gets credit for the Spoons Act. Yeah, I think they're two people that just wanted the job, but didn't really have a plan for how they were going to help the people of 22nd District and the country in general.
Well, you created the base for a joke right there. I can tell you got some. There's a punchline coming.
Before you get off the line, we would like a joke about each of the last two reps.
And some of your beliefs. How would you differ from the two of them in terms of political beliefs? Whether it's the abortion issue or would you have impeached President Trump? I mean, where do you stand on some of those key issues?
As far as impeachment, the first one, I don't know. I think the first one might have been grasping a little bit at straws. The second one, definitely, I think he deserved to be impeached, no doubt. I don't think I'm black and white against them or have differing. Obviously, I couldn't be because they have different views. My thing is, I just want to be focused on the issues at hand, and I think that's what we're losing. I mean, what Claudia Tenney got back in office, and right now all she's doing is, again, going to Newsmax, going to Fox News, telling everybody, about how bad the stimulus bill is and how it's she's really right now just attacking Governor Cuomo. I don't see how that helps. We have a real problem in this country with our deficit, with our debt, and it's just spiraling out of control, and it's only going to get worse. We're about to really bloat it up this year. We're going to have $1 trillion deficit, and nobody, not any congressperson is putting together any plan to address that. So I think that's the big thing right now. I wouldn't be on TV. I wouldn't be trying to get on Sean Hannity or Rachel Maddow to tell her to blast Donald Trump or blast Ted Cruz. I would be right now, look, the $1.9 trillion plan is coming, the stimulus plan. It's not going to be stopped. They're going to use reconciliation. I may not like it, but it's coming. So right now what I would be doing is deep diving into that and finding out what can benefit the people of the 22nd District, and then making sure that they know how they can take care of it. What money is set aside for farms? How do our farmers get some of that money? What side is going to be set aside for manufacturing, which is huge for us? How do we use that to get jobs here, to save jobs, to bring new companies? But instead, she just wants to be, I guess, a political celebrity. I'm not sure.
We will have the Congresswoman on tomorrow morning at 8:30. Just final question: how did the two of them handle the southern part of the district? Did you guys feel kind of out of touch with the district, or was one better than the other?
Anthony Brindisi was definitely a little better. He at least made himself somewhat available. For us, I found that we have a similar show to yours down in Binghamton, and he would come on fairly regularly. It's pulling teeth with Claudia Tenney to hear from her to get her into our district, and so I think, but for both of them, I think the accessibility is a little soft, and that definitely needs to be changed. Again, you work for the people. I mean, it's a weird kind of job where I'm going to ask you, Bill, hey, give me some money so I can get a job where you'll pay my salary. And that job entails me spending even more of your money. Oh, you want to hear from me? No, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's definitely another thing that's got to change. They've got to, our Congress representative has to work for us and be available to us.
Not sure what the 22nd is going to look like after redistricting, but it'll be interesting to follow where you're going and what you're doing. I know it's early, but it isn't when you really think about it. We're already going into March. Before you know it, I mean, you got to be raising money right now. You got to be thinking about that. If you're not, you'll never be able to run.
I'm not going to be taking people's money.
Okay,
I've made a decision. I think I'll tell you this: Donald Trump kind of gave a blueprint to how, and I understand that makes me a long shot either way, even if I did raise money. I'm not ignorant to the idea that I'm a long shot, but I believe that there's a way without spending other people's money to get a job. Again, like I said, where they're going to pay my salary. I'm here to try to help the people at 22nd, not to milk them for what they're worth.
All right. Interesting stuff.
Can I say something with all due respect? I thought this conversation was very refreshing. On the surface, we didn't deep dive into political issues, but I kind of like a lot of the things Hal says. Hal, if you're not taking people's money, you do not have a chance to win. You don't have a national party to come in and run spots on your behalf. I mean, it won't even be close. Nobody's going to know you because advertising is the way. I mean, unless you plan to knock on, 350,000 doors.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens, Hal. Thanks for taking the time this morning. We will do it again, all right?
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
That's a really noble thing, but I mean, if we're being honest here, you know,
It'll be hard. There's no doubt about it.
There's no chance.
Yeah.
But he seems like a nice guy, right?
Somebody's saying here, WIBX interviews the loser of NY-22, the challenger to the winner of NY-22, before ever interviewing the NY-22 current winner.
Is that a criticism? Because we've reached out multiple times. That's not our choice.
I'm sorry. I can go to Andrew to find out. How often have we reached out? And this is the first time we're getting the Congresswoman.
Yeah, I've reached out since she was certified, and we just were scheduling.
I have as well, also.
Yeah, so it is. I'm not going to sit around and wait for somebody to say yes and not interview somebody because somebody didn't say yes. So here's a guy that's announcing on Twitter that he's running already. I found it interesting, and if I had it to do all over again, well, I probably will. I think we'll hear from him again before you know it. But as for, it's not like I'm sitting here and I'm not going to sit down until Syracuse scores. We don't play it like that here. Sorry.